I'm Deborah Allen. Welcome to All Access Pass right here on the Country Music Cruise. I am so excited to be sitting here with legends, icons, friends of mine, the Oak Ridge Boys. Let's hear it for the Oak Ridge Boys.
Thank you very much, Deborah. It is a real honor for us to be here on the cruise with you today.
It's an honor to be with you too. Hey, now look, I noticed this shirt you got on here.
Well, we all have these, actually. They're our Oak Ridge Boy military uniform.
I wonder who I could talk to about getting one of those shirts. You
Raymond.
think Raymond? Yeah. Talking about my husband Raymond Hicks, who used to work with him for years. This is about the celebration tour, the 2017 celebration tour.
That's right. We're going everywhere. In fact, we've already been everywhere. and now we're here.
This is a good place to land.
Oh, this is.
We've got the best crew. Y'all are going to have so much fun. These people are wild and crazy. Let them see how wild and crazy. And they love the Oak Ridge Boys. All we've been hearing about is when are the Oaks going to land, and we got you now.
Well, we're here and glad to be here. The last couple of times we did the Country Music Cruise, we were here in the beginning and then left.
Yes.
And so this time was a little different for us to kind of join you as you go. And we've got probably more singing to do on this cruise than ever.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, so you're going to stick with us all the way back to Tampa then,
We're
right?
with you all the way to Tampa.
Yeah.
In fact, we're tomorrow night hosting the Grand Ole Opry show and singing on it.
Yes!
And then the next night we do our two shows.
Okay.
And of course that's two 90-minute shows. And then we're hosting and singing on the gospel show. So
That is awesome.
So we've packed our singing britches.
Now, did you, speaking of packing things, I know you got your singing britches on, but did you bring your banjo?
I did not.
You did not? Oh, my gosh.
No, people pay. People pay a lot of money to go on this cruise. I don't think they want to hear me play banjo.
Well,
I don't.
I would have loved to have heard it. You know his nickname is Banjoey, right?
Oh, baby. I've been playing for 14 years. I really should be better.
Well,
I should be better.
I think you're great.
Oh, thank you.
I really do. And last time I want to talk to each one of y'all, but last time we got together, you were talking about your brand new book. How...
That was On the Road with the Oak Ridge Boys. Came out, believe it or not, almost 2 years ago this spring. And it's a book about the Oak Ridge Boys that I wrote. And, the thing is, if you're going to be the guy in the group to write a book about the group, you better do it right.
Oh, yeah, because you got some guys that'll...
Yeah. And I'll tell you, I love this ship. This is a great ship. I think this is my favorite one we've been on. Having the room with Brenda Lee's been weird.
Sweet nothing.
She's coming on strong. Oh, man, her show last night was awesome. It was so great.
Rocking around the Christmas tree.
They love it. Well, so what night is your show here? Is it tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night's the Opry show.
Tomorrow night's
and
the
I
Opry
think
show?
we're on the next night. Thank you. Yes, we're on the next night. Our night to do two shows is the night after. And I forget when the gospel show is. Maybe the next morning? Thursday morning. So in other words, we got our two shows that night and we do the gospel show that morning. So we have to get up early.
When I was introducing y'all, I was just remembering about a couple of years ago. Well, it's crazy that 2 years have already passed since 2015 when y'all were inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame. Yeah. And I was there the day they announced it. It was such an amazing, exciting day. And then to see you go into the Hall of Fame, that is amazing. And that was right at the time where y'all had just hit your 41 million record sales point, and that's 2 years ago, so you're way beyond that by now.
Oh, we must be over 100 million by
now.
now.
Absolutely. And most of them, these people right here bought most of them.
In fact, Garth Brooks called the other day. He was worried.
So y'all just got back from Texas.
We did a 2-week singing trip out through Texas and ended up, then we went to another country, though, for a one night to Arkansas.
Another country?
And then we needed our passports and everything. And then we went to Oklahoma. Then we went home and repacked and flew to Cozumel. So.
Oh, well, this is definitely the place to be. I love Cozumel. Cozumel is I think it's a place where it's the land of the fertility gods. I heard that on one of my last trips.
We're too old to worry about that now.
So y'all be careful if you go ashore, okay?
We were ashore last night. I didn't see any fertility gods.
I'm alone.
I'm alone except for Brenda Lee.
Well, so was Mary, and look what happened to her.
There you go. Yeah, Mary was a good name. Notice her name wasn't like Brenda.
Yeah, right. Well, I've got to warn Brenda about that fertility god too. Although she's traveling by herself also.
Yes.
So, okay, well, what's your wildest crowd that you've had on this up until now? Up until now.
You mean this year?
Yeah.
I'd have to say Norman, Oklahoma the other night, man.
Woo!
I don't know what it is about Oklahoma, just something about the Oak Ridge Boys in Oklahoma. But we played in Norman the other night, as we have done for decades, and the people are always so nice to us there. It was a big, exciting crowd. And all of us were feeling a little bit down. We're starting to get a little sick on this trip, but then everybody really popped back, and we were so strong in Norman. It felt good. Everybody felt good again. We got well quick. So I'm not going to admit to being sick, but our bus had painted it white and put that big red cross on the side of it for a little while. But we're all good now. So
I thought they were coming for me with that one. I'm telling you, it does go around, but when you're having fun, there's just no way you can keep us down, right?
no way.
No way. So, hey, Richard, down there on the end.
Yes. Yeah.
Can you give me an papa mau mau?
Papa, my.
And then William Lee is like, William Lee, there's only one William Lee, but he also, I think he's kind of related to, who are the guys that sang Legs? You know who I'm talking about, Billy Gibbons and those guys.
They ain't related.
You're not related to them? ZZ Top.
Yeah, they're good guys. I love their music.
I love them. Well, I think they stole your look.
Well, I'm not sure.
We're going to have to talk to them about it. And then, of course, we got Dwayne Allen, lead singer of the Oak Ridge Boys.
You ain't half trying.
Well, let me ask you something, Dwayne. Whenever it was announced that you guys were being inducted into the Hall of Fame, who did you hear it from, and how did it make you feel?
We were on the Grand Ole Opry, and Jim Halsey, who is our manager, is here with us on this cruise. He came up to us and he said, "Boys, when you get through with your set on the opera tonight, don't go back to the bus. We need to have a short meeting." So we went back into a little side room, and when we got back to the side room, there was only one person in that room, and that was Sarah Traherne with the Country Music Hall of Fame.
Okay.
And there we were, Jim Halsey, the Oak Ridge Boys, Sarah Traherne. And we started talking a little bit, and we'd already seen Sarah at the show and extended pleasantries with her because we'd already done several things with the Hall of Fame over the years, and we were talking about doing some more things, but we were not members yet. And so when we got into the room, she said, "I'm not going to really beat around the bush about it." She said, the people have met, and the next class of inductees into the Hall of Fame, the Oak Ridge Boys, will be a part of the inductees.
Whoa!
And I mean, it was just that fast, and the room got real quiet, and I mean, it got deathly quiet because we were kind of in shock. And I think somebody said, it might have been me, "Are you serious?" And she said, "Yes." And like, we all kind of started hugging, and there were tears, and
Exactly.
and that's the way it happened. It came down really fast, and then she said, "And there's just one thing. Other than that, you can't tell anybody."
Oh, no! Oh, my gosh. Hang on there just a second. We're going to take us a quick break. I want to hear the rest of that. I'm Deborah Allen. This is All Access Pass right here on the Country Music Cruise. All right, just a little bit ago, just before we took our break, you were telling about that beautiful moment when y'all were told that you were being inducted into the Hall of Fame, for the Country Music Hall of Fame. You couldn't tell anybody. I mean, that would almost be impossible for me to do. How did y'all do that? How did you keep it to yourself?
Well, they let us tell our families, but we had to swear everybody to secrecy, and we did. And
I had to waterboard.
That was while it was still legal.
Oh, it's legal again.
Okay. And so they asked us to keep it secret for about, was it a couple of months? Is that right?
Yeah, that
Seems
was
like
like in the winter. And
Maybe in February when they told us, and we had to wait
till
until
June.
it was about 2 or 3 months. And then there was this big announcement at the Hall of Fame where they called in all of the press, and we all met in the rotunda. And that's when the big announcement was made, and everybody then knew it. So we were inducted in, with Grady Martin and Jim Ed Brown and the Browns.
Yes.
And that was really, it's the biggest thing that's ever happened to us. Without a doubt, there's no comparison to anything else that I could compare it to. Being inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame is the ultimate.
It really
And we're forever grateful.
You know, and I heard somebody in the audience say it's about time, you know, because really, I mean, you guys, you know, as a songwriter, I used to hang out a lot at Tree Publishing, and like one of the greatest things that could happen to a songwriter is to get an Oak Ridge Boys cut. I mean, you guys have been trailblazers for years and years and years, and just to see that happen, it's been amazing.
Well, you know, Deborah, like the gentleman said, and a lot of people said that, what took so long? That was the mantra of a lot of people. Well, why now? How come it took so long? And it's true, we've been together 43 years, the four of us singing, and we've had a lot of water under a lot of bridges, a lot of songs sung, and a lot of history we've been able to make together. But I don't really know that that time frame is important.
Yeah.
What's important is what's important. We're there.
That's right. That's exactly right.
And you know, there's a lot of deserving people. There's still a bunch of deserving people lined up yet. You don't know when it's going to be your turn or if it ever will happen. And so the fact that it did happen and it happened now, this is fine with us, man. I mean, our heads are up there in bronze. And let me tell y'all something, a little lesson we've learned. Our foreheads are there in bronze on the rotunda where the circle will never be broken. And right under our foreheads, they've got our 4 birthdays. And right by each birthday is a little dash. Hey, y'all, hashtag celebrate the dash.
That's so true. Well, you know, it is just kind of an official technicality when you actually get put into it, but it sure is a great celebration. But I know that you've been in our Hall of Fame for years in our hearts, right, everybody? I mean, we love you so much. And, well, I want to skip over down here to William Lee, if you don't mind, William Lee.
Okay.
I love him
Now,
so much.
there's a lot of stuff I can't talk about.
Well, if I hit on a sore subject, just kind of kick Dwayne, he'll kick Joe, and he'll kick me, okay? But no, really, you know, one thing that I think is so amazing, you know, you guys are such amazing singers, and the blend of your voices it's what's made the Oak Ridge Boys and the great songs that you've done. But each one of you have these other talents, you know, that it's just an extension of yourself. And, you know, your art is pretty phenomenal. Are y'all familiar with William Lee Golden's art? He is a fine artist.
Well, it kind of helped keep me out of trouble. But I tell you what, I got into photography along the way, and I would use my landscape photographs to use as reference when I would paint a big canvas. And I'm so slow of a painter, it takes me sometimes 3 or 4 or 5 months to finish a big piece, because all of my art I've painted on the road with the Oak Ridge Boys in a hotel room usually, and I would take my canvas out every day and take it to my hotel room and set it up by a window and sit there and spend the day somewhere else, you know, in a scene. But along the way, I would get better cameras to get better photographs to work from. And I've kind of also, because I'm such a slow painter, that I have really gotten more excited about some of my photographs that I do. And so some of them I'm using on reproductions on large canvases and other backgrounds that I put it on, either boards or different things. But I do a lot of I've been kind of doing that in the past year or so. And in fact, I've kind of redone things in my home with using some of my big photographs on the walls. I know in our dining room recently, I had several shots that I liked of the Grand Canyon, and my wife said that those colors match the color of the brick that was in that room and all. And so she asked me if I could choose 3 or 4 and have them printed big and put them on the walls in our dining room. And I did. So now then we're all, and I like to take photographs and get right on the edge of something where you can see that if you took another step, it'd be way down.
Oh my gosh.
And some of them would be at the edge to where, so our dining room is, we're on the south rim of the Grand Canyon.
Oh my gosh. That's amazing.
So, anyhow.
Well, no, like.
But yeah, I like that, you know, and I've got several photographs. I know I took one out in Oregon a couple of years ago, and I've got one of those reproduced also. But it again is, I was here right on this edge that goes straight down, and the trees are on the edge here, and then you can see the water way down there of the ocean coming up.
Well,
and then you can see this other, where the hill goes, how much higher it goes over here.
Wow.
So I was able to get all of that within one shot.
that's
And,
amazing.
So is that in your bathroom?
He put that in his shower. William Lee, like, well, I love that kind of stuff. I could talk about it forever, but like for people that were really interested in getting your artwork, where would they go to get your artwork?
Yeah, and I noticed today we flew in late yesterday, and we were over at the hotel over here. But I also noticed that the hotel that we stay, it's the what is it? The
Presidente?
Intercontinental.
Intercontinental Hotel over here.
Yeah.
Well, they have a lot of that they use the same thing there. It's more of a contemporary type look, but they use all these large photographs on board that's put on it, and that's what's up and down their hallways, and so they use it in a great form with all of this sea
Well,
life.
that's what's cool about being an artist. You're always evolving, because in the past I've seen a lot of your oil paintings and different subjects, and now
Yeah.
you've moved on to some more contemporary things. But I still want to know where we can go get it, because I might just have to go get me one.
Yeah.
Where can we go get it?
What now?
How can we get this art?
Well, you can see it on, I have a website,
Okay.
and you can see some of it there. I tell you, I also like to use, yesterday, I posted a photograph I took late yesterday afternoon on the Oak Ridge Boys
All right.
website, and then I tweeted
Twitter.
one and put it on another Facebook page too.
They're for sale, definitely.
Did you post that Gila monster or whatever that was?
Yeah.
What was that you posted?
That's an iguana.
Iguana.
Boy.
As soon as we got to the hotel, we had Wi-Fi yesterday, so I went right on Twitter because that's what I do. And there was Golden had tweeted a picture of an iguana.
Hello.
Oh,
It was that big, man. Big old.
oh my gosh, my mind just went somewhere I'm not going to say. Okay, hi, I'm Deborah Allen. This is All Access Pass. We're going to be back in just a few minutes. Let's hear it for the Oak Ridge Boys, everybody. Hey, I'm Deborah Allen. Welcome back to All Access Pass right here on the Country Music Cruise. You know, I'm originally from Memphis, Tennessee. And actually, when you go into the SiriusXM studios down in Memphis, you see a picture of you and Elvis, which is so cool. Richard, it's so cool.
Well, for about 2 years prior to joining the Oak Ridge Boys, I sang in a group called J.D. Sumner and the Stamps Quartet. And by the way, J.D. was a real influence on me personally. He really was. But for about a year and a half of that 2-year period, I had a chance to sing with the king of rock and roll. And, there's no question about it. It was pretty special. And let me get blatantly commercial here. I do have a book out. and it talks, if you're an Elvis fan, there's some great Elvis stories in this book. I think there's some great Oak Ridge Boys stories as well. But it's really my personal story, and I go back to my childhood, my first singing as a boy soprano, if you can believe that. But the most important part of that book, I think, is a section where I talk about the major decision that I made in my life. Here I was, singing with Elvis, singing with the king of rock and roll, who back then, at that time, was probably the biggest star in the world. And William Lee Golden called me up. He said their bass singer was leaving. He wanted to know if I would be interested in the job. And, there was really very little hesitation on my part. Like all of us, I was a big fan of the group before I became a member of the group. So I really wanted to be a part of the Oak Ridge Boys, and I felt like the group had a great deal of potential. I don't think back then I realized how much potential, but I felt like the group had a great future, so I wanted to be a part of it. And so I decided to take the job with the Oak Ridge Boys. A lot of people questioned my move. How could you leave Elvis and join the Oak Ridge Boys? But I think history has proven that I made a pretty good decision.
I think so.
So, what did you call your book?
Oh, the title of my book is From Elvis to Elvira.
Oh!
Yeah.
All right. I love it. You know what? I like I was saying, I think each one of you have so many talents, and I think a talent that you have too is you make a great host.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I host from time to time. I think I'm hosting the Grand Ole Opry show tomorrow night.
Oh,
so.
I think so. Yeah.
I think so, and we're kind of together hosting the gospel show, so that'll be fun. Right. But as we talk about hosting, I want to take over the interview for 1 second.
Okay.
And interview you.
Oh, okay.
And I'll tell you why. Last November during our big Christmas tour, Dwayne's from Paris, Texas, and they had a big day in his hometown honoring Dwayne. Dwayne Allen Day in Paris, Texas. And one of the things that we did there was we saw a preview of a future Hallmark Christmas movie that you and Dwayne Allen had a starring role in as a married couple, I might add.
Yes.
The movie is unnamed, but next Christmas on the Hallmark Channel, everybody watches it, you will see an incredible movie. Deborah has a couple songs in the movie.
Yes.
We have a song in the movie.
Absolutely.
But what's awesome is Dwayne Allen and Deborah Allen, believe it or not.
D-A-D-A.
Yeah. They play as a married couple who collects art and who helps expedite a Christmas miracle. And their job in that movie is just unreal.
Oh, thank you, Joe. I appreciate that so much. Thank you. It was so much fun playing opposite of Dwayne. When I found out that we were going to be married, my husband, Raymond Hicks, was the Oak Ridge Boys tour manager for like 8 years, all through the Elvira days. And when we came home from the first day of shooting, Raymond says, "Well, did y'all kiss?" I said, as a matter of fact, yes, we did. But it was a cheek kiss, but it was so much fun. And you had the greatest joke about our initials and our, embroidery on our towels.
There you go. You don't even have to change them. It's
No.
D-A.
It's just, we were made for each other.
But I want to again say, the acting job that they both did is so incredible. When you see this movie next Christmas season on Hallmark, remember this moment. Deborah Allen and Dwayne Allen helped
thank
to
you,
expedite a wonderful miracle and really did a great job. You guys were awesome.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you so much. Well, let me just say that now Dwayne had some pretty huge speaking roles. You had to actually give a speech at the end of the movie, and he was so moving. I mean, you were so, I was feeling it. You know what? When you're in a movie, you don't really know how it's coming across till you see it. So when I finally saw it all put together, I was like crying watching your speech. It was so awesome.
Thank you very much.
It's a beautiful movie. It's one of those, man. It is.
And
Well, the thing about making the movie was I'm a song man. Deborah's a songwriter, and we're all song people. And I've always believed in my heart the most important thing that can ever happen to an artist is 3 minutes of magic, a song. I'm a song man. I hunt for great songs. And so the producer called me and he said, I've known you a long time, and I don't want you to be someone else. I want you to be Dwayne Allen, but you're going to have a different name, and you're going to be an art collector. But I want you to put the same passion into art that you put into finding hit songs. Well, I ride about 3 feet from him in the front of the bus. I have watched him study art for 15 years, and I felt like I could do that because I have seen him build his artwork from ground up, reading book after book after book and studying it. And I thought, I think I can do this. And so what I did was basically be myself and look for the human part and the love that goes into the heart of a person who does art, just like those who write songs. And that was my part.
That was the movie right there.
He did it. He did.
It was what I did.
It was amazing. And you know, I think the title might be, unless they've changed it, I think the title is going to be The Least of These. That was the working title.
The Least of These is the working title, but the cable network want the word Christmas in it.
Oh,
so they're
okay.
asking for people to suggest titles.
Oh, okay. I'm glad
And
to know
so
that.
they
Okay.
may add the word Christmas somewhere along the way. But it comes from the Bible. If you've done that for the least of these, okay?
Right.
That's the working
It's-
title, and it's a spiritual movie.
A faith-based movie.
Yes,
Oh, very much
faith-based Christmas
Yes.
movie.
Hey, now listen, we do have someone very special here, and I just adore him, and I know he's been instrumental in your lives. And I just want to, if you have one word, each one of you, to describe this man who I call him the iconic Jim Halsey, because he's been so instrumental in so many other people's careers and with you guys forever. Just say a word about Jim, because we're very honored to have Jim on board the ship with us. It's always an honor to have him in the room with us.
Well, we call him our godfather. But let me go back to 1975. This is a famous story in Nashville. Everybody knows it. I've written about it. We've all written about it, talked about it. But you probably haven't heard it. But in 1975, we were starving to death. We were halfway a gospel group, halfway trying to sing country songs. Nobody was paying us much attention at all. And the Jim Halsey Agency at that time was one of the great agencies in country music. His stable of talent was second to none. He booked dates, he managed other acts, the list you wouldn't believe. And we got a call one day that Jim Halsey Company needed us to fill in a date. Make it short, we filled in a couple of dates and we met Jim Halsey. He heard our stage show in Tonawanda, New York, and after that show was over, he gathered us in a circle and said, you guys, to quote Dwayne again here, you guys are 3 minutes away from being the biggest act in country music. With that show, you guys need a hit. Let's start working on getting you a hit. And that was 1975, and he has managed our career ever
He sure
since.
has, he
and
sure
he's
has.
here now.
He-
42 years. Where are you, Jim?
Jim,
Where's the
where are you?
Godfather? We call him
I
Godfather.
saw him just before I walked in. I know he's here. Anyway, he's an amazing, amazing person. And I think also you guys started off that portion of your career by learning some great Merle Haggard songs, too, because you were doing gospel up till then.
We did. We learned we were a gospel group. And Jim, for us to survive, he was booking a showroom in Las Vegas at the Landmark Hotel called Country Music USA was the title of the show. And every 3 weeks, he would change the people who headlined the show. And he told us, he said, it's country music, so you've got to learn some country songs. But I'll put you in as a headliner if you will learn some country songs, but I can't book you unless you learn some country songs. So we learned Let Me Be There, Olivia Newton-John, Faded Love, Bob Wills and the Texas Playboys, and Silver Wings,
yeah.
by Merle Haggard.
Right.
That's the first 3 country songs the Oak Ridge Boys ever sang, and Jim Halsey booked us, and we did 13 weeks the first year in Las Vegas as a headline act before we ever had a country hit.
That's awesome.
Jim Halsey also is, as you alluded to earlier, he is one of the great managers and bookers. He's managed Roy Clark his entire career. And he managed Mel Tillis, just on and on. Minnie Pearl, a lot of some of the biggest names in country music, Jim Halsey has been their manager and booking agent. So,
Well, I'll go you one better on that rotunda in the Hall of Fame. Jim, are you there? Here. What's the percentage of people you had something to do with that's on that Hall of Fame wall? 25%.
Wow.
25% of the artists in the Hall of Fame have Jim
That's
Halsey's
amazing.
touch upon them.
That doesn't surprise me at all. Jim, we love you so much, y'all. Let's hear it for Jim Halsey now,
Godfather.
the Godfather. And also, y'all give yourselves a big round of applause because we're here on the Country Music Cruise to celebrate the Oak Ridge Boys. We're going to have so much fun. Did y'all bring your bathing suits?
We're not through. We're just getting started.
We're getting started. Did y'all bring your bathing suits? Did y'all bring your bathing suits?
I brought up.
I have mine with me all the time.
Hey, on that note, I would like to say let's meet them at the pool. How about it? I'm Deborah Allen with All Access Pass right here on the Country Music
Thank you,
Cruise with the
Deborah.
Oak Ridge Boys.
Deborah.
Thank you.
Woo.